Today is Friday, Parashat Vaetchanan. It's also the 15th of the month of Av, known as Tu Beav, and known as one of the happiest days of the year. Why is it? What happened exactly on Tu Beav? Well, there's more than one aspect, but basically it has to do with marriage and Torah. Marriage is because there were certain decrees in certain periods that people didn't marry with other tribes. For instance, if a person passes away without leaving any sons, only daughters, the story of the daughters of Tzelofchad that is brought in the Torah, then there was a concept that they could marry only with people from their own tribe. Because if they married people from another tribe, the tribal inheritance would pass on to the husband from a different tribe. But after they came into the land of Israel, the decree was cancelled and people could marry from any tribe, and therefore there was more opportunities to meet, have a couple meet, and there were no restrictions if she's from another tribe that you cannot marry her. Now it became where people could marry from one tribe to the other. Wow, that's a great opportunity to have more marriages happen, and that's a reason to celebrate. So another reason, there was a certain period that's brought in the books of the Nevi'im, of the prophets, where no one would give his daughter to someone from the tribe of Binyamin. So the tribe of Binyamin was sort of excommunicated, and no marriage could take place with them. Well, on Tu B'Av, that decree was cancelled. And people could marry again with the tribe of Binyamin, and therefore there were more opportunities to marry, and there was no restrictions, and wow, that's another reason to celebrate. The Mishnah tells us also on this date of Tu B'Av, it was a date that was known as the girls going into the vineyards, and the young men would be able to see, and it was a day where people could see which girl they would be interested to possibly marry, etc. So it was a day that was known for shidduchim, and therefore that's another reason to celebrate, because marriage is so important that when there's opportunities to create a new Jewish home, that's a major reason to celebrate. Then another reason that is brought is that every year during the desert, there were like about 15,000 men would die because there was that decree that after the Meraglim, the spies, spoke bad about Eretz Israel, then those who were in the desert, for 40 years they wandered in the desert, but every year 15,000 would die on the 9th of Av. That final year, just before they entered, those were spared, and they got up the next morning and they said, wow, then maybe we made a mistake. Maybe it was not the 9th of Av, maybe it was the 8th of Av. And then the next night, the same thing. Maybe it was not, we made a mistake in terms of the month, of the date in the month. But when they came to the 15th of Av, when the moon was full, and they looked at the moon and they said, wow, it cannot be that it's the 9th of Av, because when the moon is full, it means it's the 15th of Av. So that was a reason for celebration, because the decree of them dying in the desert was nullified, and this last 15,000 were spared, and they celebrated because of that. Now we come to the Torah. On the 15th of Av, the night already are starting to get longer. The days are becoming shorter. The summertime, we were like lighting the candles for Shabbat later and later and later. Now this week, it's starting to come shorter. We're going to light the candle of Shabbat earlier because the nights are getting longer. And the night is the best time, especially early morning, like after midnight, and when it's still dark outside, and even in the beginning of the night, it's a time to learn Torah. And since the nights are longer, we have more time to learn Torah, more time to enjoy that learning of Torah. So that's a reason for celebration. Now, how do these two connect? Marriage and learning Torah. Learning Torah is what completes a person. marriage is also what completes a person. Until a person marries, he's like a half. So we have a half and another half come together to form a one. And therefore, since they come together and complete each other, that's a reason for celebration. And the Torah completes a person also. So we're speaking here about completion. But if a person is incomplete because he's not married yet, then even if he learns Torah, he can gain. He can complete it, but he cannot, it's completing only half. We need the person to be complete. And therefore, with the Torah, more opportunity to learn because the nights are getting longer. We have more time we're not out there working or doing things when it's daylight. We're at home or in a Bet Midrash learning. And since Tu Be'av is associated also with the concept of marriage and forming a couple in a Jewish home, that's a great reason to celebrate. And that's why Tu Be'av is such a happy day. And that's why we didn't say Tachanun today in the prayer. And that's why in modern days some refer to it as the holiday of love, but no, there's a lot more to it than just that. There's much deeper ideas of completion, of marriage, of forming a Jewish home, and of learning Torah. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen. Happy Tu Be'av, and Shabbat Shalom.